We should be live on Instagram. You guys, I apologize. Instagram, my pod broke as I was going to put the phone in. I'm just hoping it stays in there. I'm just glad it's in there, even as well as it is right now. It's broken beyond broken. So I'm just going to have to buy a new one. I'm actually going to write that down right now so I don't forget. Put it somewhere. I'm actually going to look. Okay, so bear with me. If it's bothering you, they're on Instagram. If it's making you crazy that it is that crooked, you could switch over to TikTok at Ask Ivy, YouTube at Ask Ivy, or one of my Facebook channels. Okay, Ivy Angela Rivera, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium, and that'll fix the camera angle issue. All right, welcome everyone on. How are we doing here on YouTube and Facebook? Good to see you guys. Hey, everybody on TikTok, please give this video a thumbs up. Wherever you guys are tuning in, drop a comment of any kind. It helps me out in the algorithm. If you're here on YouTube at Ask Ivy and you want to become a member for like your monthly horoscope, you get an email reading every month, the direct spirit messages, a mini class, an exclusive Ask Ivy show where I give readings. You can hit the join button, see the different tiers of membership options. This is my Get a Grip on Your Dreams show. So you guys can go ahead and start posting your questions. I love dream analysis. I'm absolutely hooked. I do have a Symbology book that I'm wrapping up. Yes, I am aware I am behind. This is the peak season of my in-season, so I'm not trying to work on the book at all right now. But if you guys want to get on the early bird waitlist for my Symbology book, you can go to my email and just drop add me, okay? And my email is R-E-V, Ivy Rivera at Yahoo. Okay, and that's up on the screen here on YouTube. Also, just a heads up, just a warning to everybody on TikTok. TikTok does not like me. They will always disconnect my lives and say that nobody was here, even when there are a ton of people and there's a ton of interaction. So if you submit your question there, you may want to go ahead and switch over to YouTube at Ask Ivy just in case they shut me down. I will be getting to your questions, and this will be published within about 24 hours regardless up on YouTube. Any kind of question goes as far as dreams are concerned, but try to limit the amount of words that you're using. Try not to make it too lengthy because that does start to eat into your time where I'm doing the dream analysis for you, okay? You can submit $5 for a short answer, $10 for a longer answer. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok, Jill, my beautiful producer, is going to be posting in the comment section where and how you can do that. Right? If you're on YouTube or one of my Facebook channels, it's in the description above or below. I'm not sure exactly how that works. Okay, but the pay links are all there. I do want to say thank you to my YouTube members: Edgar, Yolanda, Deanna Altieri, Misubi, Jill Marie, Jan Phillips, Vanessa, Chicken Mama, Cody, Maraid, Shar H, Jennifer Cole, Me Love 716, Robin Hartling, Andrea M, Tristan Marion, Audra, Mary Sykes, Tiffany Smith Villarreal, Angie Johnson, Bonnie S, and I think I got to everybody. Thank you so much for your continued support. A couple quick announcements while we let everybody tune in and start submitting your dreams. A couple things I have coming up here. I have my ghost hunt here at the 1882 Victorian Funeral Home, the headquarters for the Ivy League Psychic Academy. This is going to be a tour of all 4 floors, an actual paranormal investigation. So bring your equipment. We only have 2 spots left. Maybe I can make an adjustment if you had a bigger group, but you gotta get in here soon. Okay, so we're almost entirely sold out. That's going to be October 26th, and that is running from 8 to 11. It's supposed to be 8 to 11 p.m. All right, so check it out. Everything I'm about to mention is up on my website, as well as like if you want to book a psychic fair party or a reading with me, Rivera Psychic Medium.com. My Victorian Tea and Gallery show at the hauntingly beautiful Margin Manor Winery is also almost sold out. I believe we have 4 tickets left for that. So that's going to be November 24th. And after I do a gallery show while you guys are having your Victorian tea, finger foods, wine tasting, all the lovely things, after the gallery show, I do private reads. Okay, so those are also booking up rather quickly. You could do pre-booking on my website if you want. So get your tickets for the Victorian Tea and Gallery show. What is a gallery show? If you've never heard of that, that's where I stand up in front of an audience and I deliver out messages to the group. You can also book a party like that anytime. People like to book parties, especially now and then like throughout the holidays, like, you know, Christmas, whatever, Hanukkah, we got New Year's, we got so many, Kwanzaa going on, all these things. People like to do a 1-hour gallery and then allow the guests to have private reads afterwards. So tons of fun. We also have coming up the Psychic Mediumship course. If you wanted to join, you want to be with the group, you want to have the option to come here, okay, to the Ivy League and actually attend in person, or you want to do it online with us live, you could do that. The group starts January 7th. Now, I just got some new registers for class, I want to say in the last couple days, because they don't want to wait. They want to join Evergreen. So we are running the Psychic Mediumship course all the time. Don't feel like you have to wait, but if you do want to be with a group, that would be the time to do it. Registration is now open and that will be limited seating. It's filling up very nicely. And I tell you now, if you've been debating on joining with a group, like if this is going to be a good social situation for you, this group is very, very powerful. I haven't seen a group like this in a while here. It's exciting. I'm excited. All right, we're going to move on to another one. What else do we have coming up, Jill? The Spirit of Tarot. Tiffany Chisler, our tarot teacher, is also offering her tarot course. Also starts January 7th. You could do that through video download or live, okay, with her online. Starting January 7th to March 11th, 7 to 9 p.m. And I believe these are Tuesdays, if I'm not wrong, but that's up on the website. You can go check that out. Okay, you guys can also, if you just want to look at classes, you can go to ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com for that. What else do we have coming up, Jill? I know I have a couple other events, I think right about now. I know we have Holiday coming up. And my readers, certified readers, tarot, psychic mediumship, pet readings, orograph readings, they will be at Holiday. So if you guys are all about the Psych Center, the old Psych Center in Buffalo, that's where this is. This was a massive event. There are these little like huts, little chalets, that 50 or plus of them that are set up with lights strung and all kinds of activities, even for kids. Every single one of these chalets has a vendor inside, and my readers will also be there, okay, offering. So you've got the amazing, these beautiful old architectural buildings from the Psych Center. So many of them are still abandoned, but you can kind of walk around the grounds a little bit. But the ones closer to where we will be doing the event are now owned by, it was the Henry Hotel, and now it's the, what is it called? Why can't I remember this? Do you know, Jill? Something Olmsted. I want to say Roberts Olmsted. I don't know. Somebody let me know. So now it's a hotel. So also, if you come out for this event and you decide you want to stay in town, you can hopefully get a room there. Amazing. I got to walk around inside a little bit. You'll love it. What else do we have going on? Oh, that's going to be October 5th and 19th. Sorry. And I believe the 18th as well. So the 5th is done. I was there on the 4th. We have 2 more dates coming up for that. All right, so check it out. And one more announcement maybe before we start getting into questions. Do we have anything else? Or are we good to go? I think we're good to go. All right. So welcome everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Airwalk, and this is my Get a Grip on Your Dreams show. This is a brand new show. I did it one other time, And I'm hoping I can keep it in the mix. So if there's enough interest, if you guys are, purchasing the readings, I get a lot of good feedback, I'll keep doing this. Otherwise, it'll fall off. So this is still a test show. I like for the first 3 times that I run any kind of a show to see what the feedback is before I fully determine whether or not I'm keeping it. Okay, so again, interact. Let me know. Do you enjoy this type of thing? All right, but what you guys are going to do, $5 gets you the short answer, $10 gets you the long answer. You're going to submit your dream. I'm going to analyze it, but I would recommend you don't write out too much information so that it isn't eating into your time. Keep it to the point, and especially the major symbology involved. I need that. That's mostly what I'm going off of. All right, go ahead and start submitting those now if you haven't already done so. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, Jill, my producer, is posting in the comment section where it is that you can go make your payment and submit your question. And if you're on YouTube or Facebook, I think it's all sort of inclusive right there. I think you do everything under one roof. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. Jill, what do we have? Who do we have? Like no blank paper here. Okay. So the first question, dream analysis, is from Edgar. This is a $10 question. Right. Years ago, I dreamt that I was in my room and a spaceship was approaching my bedroom window, but I woke up in fear. What was that about? Well, I mean, a lot of people have these especially you ate something weird. So I do want to just sort of get that out of the way. I think there's more going on here than that, but it is a common thing to have. So, you want to keep in mind that a lot of the dreaming that we do falls into the subconscious dreaming category, and a lot of it is based on what we ate that day. Okay, so there is that. And this is one of the top 3, I would say. But what, tends to happen with aliens or even angels that are often mistaken for aliens, because actual angels are long and tubular light beings, no faces, tube arms, long legs. And they come and they kind of hold you down with like rays of light and things like that, and they deliver healing. I think what's going on is that at that time in your life, you were looking for healing. I also think that you were looking for some form of escape. So when we tend to joke around about things like aliens coming and taking us away, helping us escape from this planet, that is funny. And yes, we're joking, but there's also some truth in every joke that we tell, right? So this is one where you may have been looking for more of a sense of community, also feeling alienated from the people in your life, feeling alienated from your world, and possibly even feeling a bit alienated from yourself. So when we think about what aliens do in bringing support and comfort for people who don't feel as though they belong on Earth, they're not really part of the human race, or they're here mistakenly. There's a desire to sort of go back to your alien tribe, to go back home, to go back to the planet where you came from. And so you may have really been going through it at that time 100%. Do I think it's something you need to work with more? I think that one of the things that you may want to do here also is not necessarily to, try to connect with aliens. I don't think there's a whole heck of a lot going on there. I don't really think aliens want to have much to do with us. I don't blame them. Okay. But I think instead of taking that approach, and a lot of people do, especially if they're getting new into their spiritual work, they tend to become obsessed with aliens and other planets. But I think that what's more important to do is to look at the root issue, which is that you're not feeling at home enough among the humans, and to work on those relationships, because you are here as a spiritual creature having a human experience, and that is where your focus should be. So when people use, aliens as a form of escape, it's nothing more than escapism and avoidance, like any drug addiction or any other type of, form of release, when we actually need to be digging in, deeper to where we are. So I would recommend too that you go back and examine, do a little meditation maybe tonight, and go back and look at what was going on in your life at that time that was making you feel so alienated with this desire to escape, and see where you are now. What improvements have been made and what improvements could you continue to make? Okay. I also think, and this is just for everybody, you know, I think that when you have a lot of feelings of being on an island and being one with everyone, but at the same time being so disconnected from that because of the way humans behave, it puts you in a great position to become a leader at some point, a healer for sure, you know, but we have to walk the walk before we can fully talk the talk. All right, let's move on to another one. Thank you, Edgar. Great question. So this is from a Bridget, and this is a $10. Bridget wants to know, I had a dream that my sister called and told me my mother died. Is that really going to happen? Okay, well, for legal reasons, I can't say when someone is actually going to pass, but I do feel like in your situation, that's not what's going on. I think that what's happening is that your mother is going through a bit of a metamorphosis. And when we go through eclipse season, especially, which we are and have been, okay, for a while now, we are in it. We are in the thick of it. What happens is a lot of transformation. Now, can deaths occur during that time? A lot of astrologers will argue with me about this, which is, I don't understand how they're arguing on this. Yes, it does happen. Now, again, I don't see that happening for your mother, but yes, it can. We see a lot of pets passing away, people who were on the verge of already passing. That's typically what it is. Could it be something outrageous and accidental? It can. Eclipses tend to bring this, and I'll die on that hill. But you know, when we're looking at something like this dream about your mother, what we're really talking about is her going through some pretty radical change. And that is in itself a death of an old way of being into the birth of a brand new life. So we want to think of it, especially through eclipse season, is like everyone's going through that. But some people are going to go through it more dramatically than others, depending on their zodiac sign and what's going on in their chart. And your mother's just one of these, you know, so she may be really leaving behind an old way of being and moving into something new. Okay, so we want to be careful too. We're not ever jumping to conclusions about something like that. Now, there is something called messenger of death syndrome. I talk about this quite a lot on here in my free mini classes here on YouTube. In the psychic mediumship course, messenger of death syndrome is when you literally see how and when someone is going to pass away. And it's true, and you have a pattern of being able to predict that. Okay, alongside that, you would also be able to have invasion of those types of thoughts. Say you're stopped at a red light and the guy in the truck next to you, you just notice that he's about to have a heart attack and pass away. It would happen with random people that you don't know. It would also happen with like world events, any type of disease, you know, outbreaks like we had with COVID, you know, stuff like that. So if you don't have that going on all the time, you know, we don't want to assume that when we see things like this, it's literal. It's probably more symbolic, and she's, you know, probably going to come out of this as a really very different person with a whole new life. So it can be very exciting and positive, actually. All right, we're going to move on to another one. What else do we have coming in here? So we have from Christina Cranford. This is a $10 question. Christina wants to know, I dreamt that I was in a restaurant and was served bat's blood, purple and metallic in color, in 2 pewter shot glasses. What does that mean? 2 shot glasses? Okay, well, we have to break down the colors. Metallic is sort of like a silver. And it was bat's blood, correct? Okay. So this is an interesting one. When we're talking about bats, first of all, we have to look at the nature of a bat. So bats tend to have almost like multiple talents about them, right? It's a mouse, but it flies. It's a mouse with wings. People will say it's a rat with wings, right? So when we look at like mouse type energy, we're talking about relentless, okay? Very perseverant, A mouse will just keep chewing in the same spot in a wall until it's made a hole, and they don't care how long it's going to take. If it takes their entire life, that's what they're going to do, right? So sort of tenacious energy about them. The fact that it's a bat means you have freedom. So mobility, when we see wings, we're talking about freedom. We may also be talking about creativity. So what you want to be looking at is where you were in your life at that time. And you want to analyze areas where maybe you did not feel that you had freedom. You did not feel that you could use your creativity. You did feel trapped. You did not feel that you were having breakthroughs like a mouse, you know, but you may have instead of having that breakthrough and getting to the other side of the wall, using your tenacity was getting you nowhere. You were just like a mouse on a wheel. You were just trapped. There was stagnancy at that time in your life. The fact that whoever served you, the bartender or, you know, the waiter, what have you, served you bat's blood, they're trying to give you the power that a bat would have. Okay. So we're talking again, freedom, creativity, tenacity, being seen, being heard. There's a certain, you know, power that also comes from bats and other animals similar to them. Because they have a different vantage point, right? They're nocturnal, they sleep upside down, they're able to see in the dark. I mean, all these things that make us terrified of them, right? You're looking for that power. You want that. You wanted that in your life at the time. So you're drinking bat's blood. The fact that you had 2 shots signifies, with the number 2, soulmate connections. You could have also been looking for a deeper bond in love. Or feeling like you had members of like your soul tribe around you. It's about teamwork. It's about networking. So you may have been looking for more of that in regards to like your career, any aspect of your life, you know, where you wanted to feel more connected and like you were working with other people and it was beneficial for you. When we talk about purple, we're talking about spiritual development also, and royalty, positions of power. Okay. And the silver would have really just been kind of connected to the emotions behind it, you know, the moonlight, the fact that, again, this is a nocturnal animal, you needing to get more in touch with your emotions and how all of this was affecting you at the time. Interesting. And you were just drinking it down. So I would not be surprised also, and I would love to hear from you in the comments, right? I think we all would, like, after that. And if you guys can give confirmation on these dream analysis and say where you are now and how that, you know, was true for you at the time, I want to hear about this. But, you know, I would love to hear if after you had that dream, you did, because you drank it. It sounds like you drank it, right? You said you were given the blood. So if you drank it, you should have seen breakthroughs within probably 2 weeks, you know, in those areas that I talked about. If you didn't, probably not. Interesting. All right, let's move on to another one. Thank you, Christina. Also, if you guys want to book a dream analysis with me, you can just do it on my website anytime. If you don't want to do it here publicly, it is a service that I offer. So just go to ivyriverapsychicmedium.com. I also want to ask everybody, whatever platform you're on, please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment of any kind, and please do follow. All right, we have one from Scott. This is a $10 question. Scott wants to know, why am I having so many intense, sad dreams? Trying to find resolution with people from my past. Okay. So this is something everybody's going through right now, again, because of the astrology, because of not only eclipse season, but also we are moving out of that final shift from, you know, Pluto back into Capricorn, into Pluto in Aquarius. And that's wrapping up a 16-year cycle. So when you put all of these things together, we also have a lot of going on with Mars. Any astrologers in the comment feed, if you want to break this down for everybody so they can maybe like Google it and learn more, that would be great. But when you look at just even these 3, and there's more going on than this, a lot of retrogrades, what we're going to be doing is processing. And when we can't process karmic issue with someone else, either because they're deceased or there's alienation, or, you know, we've gone no contact or whatever it is. Okay. You're not, maybe they're in another relationship and that would be inappropriate for you to be reaching out to them, whatever it is. when there's a divide and you cannot actually come into contact with that person, or it would be a bad idea, okay, it would be unfruitful to try to deal with them, you still deal with the karma. We still continue to do the work with other people, but we do it through astral travel. We do it in other dimensions. We do it in meditation. We do it in our sleep. Okay, so you are finding a way to get to a better place with these people in the sleep state. And that is, again, part of the eclipse season where we're leaving behind the old, we're creating the new, we're wrapping up karmic cycles with this Pluto and Capricorn going into Pluto and Aquarius officially, you know, and that, again, that's a 16-year cycle. So this could be a lot of people. I mean, 16 years, that's a long time. You know, it could be happening with multiple people. Anyone else have this going on? And it is sad. And most of the reason it's sad and the dreams feel heavy is not because they're bad and not because they're unproductive and not because you need to block that out and make sure that doesn't happen again, but because it's sad when you loved someone or you continue to love someone and you can't actually do this work in real time. It has to be done in other dimensions and in your sleep. You know, for whatever reason, there's dysfunction there or toxicity and it can't happen. That is disturbing. We have a church service actually coming up. I don't know if it's this upcoming Sunday or the following one, but it's definitely this month, called Grieving. I think it's called Grieving the Living, something like that. Okay. Jill, let me know if you know when and what the title is on that. But that's going to be here, okay, on all platforms, 9 p.m. It's one of the upcoming Sundays. And we're going to be talking about that more in depth because it's so taboo. And that's another reason, you know, we have to process our relationships with other people that we can't work with in real time in the sleep state is because we're not allowed to talk about it. You know, we have all this shame and guilt and judgment. It's 100% taboo. Okay, so we are bringing it into the church service. And hopefully that'll help there too. Grieving the Living. Thank you, Jill. And that's the 27th at 9 p.m. Grieving the Living. And so many people are doing that right now. As painful, if not more, as grieving the deceased. All right, let's move on to another one. Bethany said she's looking forward to that. Yes, so am I, Bethany. So we have another one here from Edgar. This is a $10. So Edgar wants to know, dreamt that I was at a hotel and noticed Jennifer's husband being very disrespectful to her. What does it mean? You're probably just seeing things that happen. And, you know, you may also have some wishful thinking there that that's going to lead to a breakthrough, that, you know, she would see it in the way that you're seeing it and that she would leave. It does not necessarily mean that's going to happen, but more that the activity itself may be increasing and there may be more awareness of it, not just by her or from, you know, from her experiencing it, but from outsiders, and that outsiders are starting to point it out. Typically with an abusive relationship, it escalates and people start to intervene and say things, but usually the person being abused is being abused in so many different ways that they either can't see it just yet, or they're not prepared to get out, or you have no idea how bad it actually is and they can't get out. And they're just trying to like calm everything down so it doesn't get worse and figure out a way out. She could be at that point. Okay. There's also a lot of reference here with the hotel. A hotel can represent opportunities. Whenever we see doors, rooms, okay, hallways, these can represent different opportunities or possibilities. But unless she's walking through the right doors, unless she's going into the right rooms, you could see nothing but stagnancy. It could represent that, you know, she's starting to see that there are more options. But if you never saw her leave the room where the abuse was happening, or you saw her in a hallway, not trying to get into other rooms, for example, just in a hallway, walking up and down, she's stuck. And you can usually expect with something like that, you're looking at least a 6-month period of time where the person's just sort of lost. You know, they're turning into a bit of a lost soul. With hotels or any dreams of, like, you know, buildings where it's like a school or something, a lot of rooms, a lot of doors, you know, a lot of lost energy, kind of really sad. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you, Edgar. We are going to move on to another one. This is from a Christina Cranford. Oh, good. This is Christina responding. So Christina with the bat's blood, if you guys are tuning in late, you're going to want to watch this. This one's good. Okay. Like, it'll be published tomorrow. So Christina says, I did drink the blood and I am pursuing spiritual growth, the purple blood, and some other things you mentioned hit home. I had this dream just a few days ago, so more to come. Perfect. As long as you drank it, that's what's important. And you really have to, I'm thinking of Nacho Libre, right? Who like ate the eagle eggs, my eagle eggs. Like, it was so disgusting. He like ate it and then fell. Hilarious. But like, had he not done that, it were like, he wouldn't have won. I think he won the next wrestling match. You have to believe wholeheartedly. It was a ceremony is what you did. Your higher mind created a ceremony, right? And, you took something in, you took power into you, and it will work. Okay. So be confident. All right. Thank you, Christina, for the feedback. Anyone else I'm reading here tonight? I would love your feedback. So interesting. New York Nurse 79 on TikTok. $10 question. Okay. So she says, I had a dream with my deceased best friend. On her birthday, she told me she could travel through all space, time, and dimension. She said she was having so much fun on the other side. Was this a visitation? Yes. Typically, when we have a visitation, they are rather brief encounters, meaning just they don't last very long, but they are packed full of information. And that happens because the mouth is usually not moving and telepathy is being used. So it's almost like the use of words through verbal communication in the traditional sense slows things down. We can't get as much information in during that time. So you may notice this. Maybe you didn't notice it, but you'll notice it in the future. Her mouth probably wasn't moving. So you guys were communicating at like rapid, ridiculous speed through this telepathy. And through that, she was probably also able to give you some feelings. Okay, so let me know if now that you're thinking about it, you did notice this. Did you feel what she was feeling? Did you almost feel like maybe even a little envy? Like, really? You know, and like maybe she's so different now and she has access to all these things. It can sometimes further the divide a little bit, okay, even though it's not meant to, because you're not there. You can't have those things yet. Right? That's one of the beautiful aspects of crossing. People fear death so much, but my God, the relief, the release, the freedom, the intrigue, the curiosity. Okay, it's an amazing thing. We shouldn't fear it. So you know, she's sharing with you in this visit where she is and what she's doing and how great it is, and trying to relieve if you have any fear over maybe death, but also, is she okay? Where is she? You know, is she stuck in limbo? You know, did she not cross over? I mean, we tend to overreach and worry in that area because, you know, society has taught us to do that. Religion especially has taught us to do that. And we don't need to be doing that. Okay. But she is confirming how great it is. Also, she's letting you know that even though she's doing all these new things, and she is in this new space, that the communication between the two of you and the relationship itself is going to continue to grow. And she wants to bring some of this back to you, which is pretty amazing. I love that. So yeah, that was real. Absolutely. I would also say, just for anyone else listening to this and saying, oh, I had something similar, but mine wasn't good. Okay. When you have what you think is a visit dream from a deceased loved one, and they look gray, or they have black under their eyes, or they're like looking like a zombie, or it's scaring you, they're asking you for help. Maybe, you know, you have a terrible feeling about the interaction with them. It tends to last a long time. These are not real. Okay. These are subconscious dreams that you've concocted because you have some unresolved feelings or issues either between you and this person, or the way they passed, or the fact that they're gone, or we can go in a million directions with that. Okay. So the way New York Nurse 79 said her interaction was with her friend, that's really how most of the interactions will be going. Also, once they've sort of shown you, it's usually a dream within like a year to a year and a half after they've passed, they've shown you what their new life is. Usually after that, when they come to you, they're coming with some kind of support or help or a message of direction, you know, after that. So we can look forward to that. All right, let's move on to another one. We have from Kim. This is a $5. Kim says, I previously dreamt of someone's death like years before it happened. I saw a dead body in a dream this week. Is it foreboding for the person, death of a situation for me, or something else? Well, I don't know if you were tuned in earlier, but I was explaining in some great detail that usually death dreams are not literally about the death of that body, that person, but more about the death of their old way of life and a birth into a new way of living. And because we're in eclipse season right now, and we are also moving from Pluto and Capricorn to Pluto and Aquarius, which is the end of a 16-year cycle. And then we've got some stuff going on with Mars. There's a lot of stuff. Okay. It's going to conjure dreams like this. So she's probably going through a drastic change. Now, the other thing I was talking about earlier, and I'll repeat this again for you, is that when you see someone's death, it could just be a psychic moment. Okay. It could be a moment of clear empathy, but when you see that people are going to die repeatedly, you know when they're going to die, you know how they're going to die, you know if tragic world events like 9/11 are going to happen, you know when disease is going to outbreak like COVID, for example. You have something called messenger of death syndrome. It would be a regular blessing / curse, and you would not only have it for people you know occasionally, you would have it all the time, everywhere you go. So don't assume, unless you have messenger of death syndrome, that every time you have a death dream, you're actually predicting someone's death. Again, it's probably exactly like what you said. It's the death of an old way of life into a new way of life. Or yeah, you could say a situation. Probably it's more about her than you. Okay. Unless you guys share a situation and that came up in the dream. It could be both of you. All right. Thank you, Kim. Great question. I think this is the second or the third one we've had about death dreams. There's a lot of it right now. A lot of people are upset right now because of those, but more than likely they're not literal. We're going to move on to another one. So New York Nurse 79 says, yes, I was so happy for her. When it was time for her to leave, I threw myself on the floor crying. Oh, okay, right. So yeah, she's referring to her friend visiting her from the other side. Her friend had passed and she came through talking about how positive it was on the other side. Yeah, you're happy for her. But throwing yourself on the floor crying makes a lot of sense, because we keep saying we want to see our loved ones. We want a visit dream from our loved ones who crossed to the other side. And then when we have that visit dream and they show what they're into, it can create that sense of almost desperation. You want to hold on to them, you know, or like I said, it can further the divide in a way between the two of you, because we can't even wrap our heads around what they're doing over there. You know, we just have to keep having an attitude of gratitude about where the relationship is now and the fact that it is growing and continuing, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of that feeling at the end. Not so good. All right, glad you're rolling the good and with the bad on that. And then we have another one here from a Susanna Cruz. And I will take also, I just want to shout a couple things out here real quick before I take this. Kimberly Pechu says, we have a full blood moon in Aries right now, North Node in Aries. Okay, check your Chiron. Okay, and then Bethany Renner says, Ivy, would you be willing to speak about why people might not remember their dreams or how they could start to remember them? So yeah, Jill, if I don't know if she bought that or what, but at some point I do definitely want to get to that. Susanna Cruz, $10 question. Let's get to you next. Okay, so Susanna says, hi, Ivy, I've been dreaming about my ex-husband, Dorian, wanting me back into his life. I have been dreaming about him a lot lately. He probably does. I can tell you that. Too bad, so sad. I mean, there's a lot of this. I've actually booked a few of these just this week where people are like, my ex is pulling me back. He's showing up in my dreams, or he showed up literally. Or I had someone yesterday I read who said he literally traveled from like out of the state or out of the country to be where she is and to just sort of pop in, you know, and she's like, am I supposed to go back to him? My ears ringing like crazy. No, 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 no. Okay, no, none of that. What's happening is, again, because of all the astrology, the eclipses, everything I mentioned several times, what's happening is people who have unfinished business with you, they have regrets, they want to rewrite the ending, right? There's karmic debt. They're reaching. They're overreaching. They're pulling, they're tugging at those cords if those cords have not been cut. Even if they were and they've, you know, they're tugging again, you may have to go back and do it again. And one of the easiest ways for them to do this is through dreams or astral travel. So, you know, he may be actively doing little ceremonies or spells or having meditations or visualizations. I mean, he's definitely doing it at night, voluntarily and involuntarily. So he's pulling and tugging at your energy. Now, what happens that translates to you is that you're having almost these like real-time experiences with him when he's doing that. You could here have some unresolved feelings. You yourself could have some unresolved issues, wishing, most people do upon a breakup, wish that they could rewrite the ending, or that it could have been done, you know, better, where we were still maybe amicable or something like that. However, you know, it's an opportunity for you to know, and this is for a lot of people out there, if you have an ex showing up in your dreams, in your thoughts, signs and symbols of them everywhere, they're probably pulling and tugging at you, and they're wishing, hoping they can get you back. Now, in my other ear is ringing. Okay, this is my psychic warning ear. We do not want to do that. Okay, that does not mean that they're approaching you with growth, with authenticity, okay, with integrity. It just means they're in their feelings, okay, until they can prove otherwise. So if you're going to be open to talking with them, make them prove it, and not like with you into the future. No, no, no. What have you been doing this whole time? No, no, no. To the past. Okay, the entire time you haven't been apart, you haven't been together. What happened there? Because there we can establish a pattern. So either this person is exactly the same and we have a pattern in their past here when you weren't together of all the junk that's exactly the same. That's probably why you left, right? Or there's a pattern of change and maybe you do want to examine it a little bit, you know, toy around with it and see if they can keep that pattern up. You're not going to overcommit, of course. But what I feel very strongly here is a big no. He is wanting you back in his life, but you know, that's his problem. Let him want it and cord cut. I would, you know, just to keep him out of your space, because it is kind of gross, you know, when they're like needy and pulling and tugging at your energy and like siphoning and trying to get your attention. And it's like, take it to therapy, dude, you know, take it to the therapist. All right. Thank you, Susanna. I think a lot of people are having that now. We're going to move on to another one. So Bethany has a $5 question. Bethany wants to know, could you please speak about why people might not remember their dreams or how they could start to remember their dreams? Okay, so I have a class up on the website. It's 2 hours long. It's called Dreams. And again, you can go to ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com for that, or ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com. It doesn't matter. It's up there. And the dreams class breaks down what I call blocked dreaming. Blocked dreaming occurs when you go through something traumatic or high stress in your life, and you stop being able to remember your dreams, even if you were really good at it before that. And you are essentially doing this where you're blocking out your dreams because not only has your waking life been stressful, but it's now spilling over into the sleep state. So when we talk about subconscious dreaming, and I break this down in the class as well, subconscious dreaming, astral travel, visit dreams, prophecy, all the things, okay, lucid. When we are trying to find solutions to something that's happening in our day-to-day life that is coming up empty, it's just causing more stress, right? There's a ton of trauma. This could have been a car accident. This could have been a period where you were being abused. This could have been a divorce. This could have been job loss, right? Your finances took a hit, which means there's usually threat to your home. There's threat to being able to feed your children. There's threat to so many different, whatever it is. Okay. You went through something. And while you were feeling down and out, you were trying when you were sleeping, as a human being will, to subconsciously process all this overwhelming stuff from during the day that you could not fully process. And you were searching for answers and solutions. But while you were doing that, you were having a lot of nightmares, night terrors, having to fully face what was going on and what could possibly happen because of it, or what just happened to you. And that comes through as very traumatic stress dreaming. And usually after 2 or 3 of those, the average person will be like, forget it, I don't like that either. And they just block. Now, that does not mean you're not sleeping. And that does not mean you're not dreaming. It just means your brain cannot handle it anymore. Now you're stressed at night too, and you're going to block it out. Okay, so we put it away, and we may never have dreams again that we remember. And that's sad. I talk to a lot of people who are like, I have not remembered a dream in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I'm like, how? Well, because they didn't go to therapy, because they didn't do shadow work, because they haven't grown or evolved, because they're not transmuting and they're not alchemizing pain into power. They're not doing the work. Therefore, you can't get it back. Okay. And this class will help you anyways. Okay. So it'll break it down. I know that went way over time. But anyways, that's good for everyone. You really need to not only understand the different kinds of dreams that you're having, but should you hit an episode, including something that seems harmless enough, like a simple surgery or having your wisdom teeth removed or something like that, you'd be surprised. You know, this is traumatic. Your body remembers, your brain's going to remember, and you may stop dreaming. So if you want to get it back quick, okay, check out that part of the dreams class. All right, let's move on to another one. Great question. Bree, $5 question. Bree wants to know, can I ask why we haven't had a visitation from a loved one who passed away? So often you have and you don't remember it. Okay, again, does that mean you have blocked dreaming? Possibly surrounding their passing. If it was traumatic, you're really sad, you may be blocking it. That doesn't mean you're blocking all your dreams, but you may be blocking dreams about them. It happens all the time. So maybe you're not in a good enough place with this person's passing yet. It can also happen if you're overreaching, if you're needing too much from them. So when we are demanding more, when we are saying, come to me, I can't be okay unless you're coming and visiting me, they tend to pull back. I call this the law of the light. Spirits, people who have died and have crossed over into the light have to abide by the law of the light. Law of the light says you can't come and visit anyone if it's going to upset them, if it's going to throw them off the rails, if it's going to send them into more of a grief, or it's going to prevent their healing or they're moving on. You'll feel spirit pulling back until they're not even around at all anymore. And that's not because they've abandoned you. It's because in a way you've abandoned yourself. You know, you're not doing the healing work and putting too much pressure on them, you know, also. So what tends to happen is that when someone passes away, Bree, there are usually 1 or 2 people in the family or whatever the group who say they did come and visit me. And that's usually because that person is very mediumistic. That person is highly empathic. Someone just kicked it right on my neighbor's house, I think. I don't know if you hear that ambulance. What timing? Someone is able to embrace death and life that comes after death, understanding that we don't die, we simply transform. Energy is all we are, and energy just transforms itself. It's usually going to be those people in the group that receive the visits, and anyone else that's really struggling with these types of concepts won't. And again, it's not because it didn't happen, okay? Because I have spirits coming through in readings all the time being like, I have visited you 3 times. I am there once a week. You don't remember any of this. It's you. It's not me. And they say this because their visits aren't useless just because you don't remember them. Their visits are meaningful and they are happening, but your brain is shutting it out. Okay. So deal with the darker aspects of that still need healing. Great question. All right. We're going to move on to another one. Paula said, I did try to make sure. What's that in reference to? I don't know. Okay. Looks like we are at time. I just want to remind everyone that if you enjoyed this is a brand new show. This is only the 2nd time I ran it. I run my new shows 3 times, then I decide whether or not they're going to stay in the mix officially. So if this is something that you guys really enjoy, I want your feedback on it. And, then I will add it to the rotation. We have Get a Grip on Your Finances, Your Money and Career shows. We do Get a Grip on Your Intuitive Intelligence. We do Get a Grip on Your Love Life and Relationships and a bunch of other things here. So please do hit that subscribe button if you guys want to book a party, a psychic fair, or a reading, or a dream analysis with me. Go to Rivera Psychic Medium.com. All right. Thanks so much, guys. See you soon. Thanks, Jill. Thank you, Spirit.